All right. Go ahead and make your way out to the floor. Lay down. Who's got a punch card?
Are you aware
No, I am not aware.
that Jake never got an e-collar?
No, I didn't know that.
Go over there, sit. There you go.
That's so weird.
Thank you.
Ellie! How's things going at home with them?
Doing all right.
Hi, mamas.
Good. I'm here to sit. You just came out to get socialized a little bit. You have good.
Yeah.
She's doing all right. Zeke is Zeke.
Do you have a card?
I don't. I'm okay, and she punched me already when I just joined.
Okay.
My first punch.
Did she give you a card though?
Because I forgot my bag.
Okay.
So she's going to give it to me next week.
Okay. Got it.
Good job.
All right. Lay down. All righty. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing today? We have a good week? Yeah? No? Yeah?
Yeah, it's been all right.
It's been all right. Better than alternative?
Yeah.
So, all right. So last week we kind of went over some impulse control stuff, right? That's what we did with her, with the ball. That was last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
2 weeks.
Time flies.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Is anybody struggling with anything specific that you would like me to cover?
Nope.
Still duration
Well, yeah. And he's starting to walk
ahead of you?
further ahead.
Okay. So let's work on some loose leash walking stuff then. So one of the big things is setting the boundary or the expectation for your dog. When I teach the heel command, which is the loose leash walk, a lot of times I'm not going to say anything to the dog at first because I just want the dog to find a safe space where there's no pressure. Walk. Walk. So I get the leash on my dog. Sit. And I want to make sure my dog has enough slack that my dog can make a mistake. If my dog cannot make a mistake, then the dog is never going to learn where they need to be. So if I'm constantly on my leash and I'm forcing my dog to stay with me, my dog is going to fight this and he's not going to want to stay with me. Let alone if I ever want to get away from being on leash with my dog, if I want to be off leash, if my dog is so used to the pressure, they're never going to get away. So when I teach this, I don't say any words, I just start moving. I want the dog to be on a loose leash. He got distracted, I change my direction. And then really quickly, he's going to figure out that if I stop paying attention, there's going to be a correction. And then I can add even more harder things. So I can take food, toss the food out. Good, right? That's really freaking difficult. This dog is super food motivated. And he's like, dude, you're tossing food. Good. But I want him to think everything comes from me. Good. Now, obviously this is my dog, so his heel is going to be a lot quicker, a lot faster. Place. Down. So I'll take Miss Loudmouth. You can just let it drop. Good. And I'm just doing the opposite whatever she does. Good. 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 Oh, you don't like my treats? You're a little Miss Boozy? Good. Wow. Good. So, every time she gets distracted, I'm doing the opposite. And it doesn't have to be circles. I can walk back and forth. Good. I can make her find that left side. She likes to go to the right, it looks like. Good. Shut up. So jealous. I can start my automatic sit. Good. Heel. She gets distracted. Boom. Back into my sit. Good. Heel. And then really quickly they just figure out that you can't have that treat. So I stop moving. I want to help her sit. Good. Hi. Boop. Boop. Heel. Big distraction over here. Good. Another one over here. That was a little bit harder. Heel. No, Raider. Good. Hi. All right. So, we call it attention getters, drunk walking, whatever you want to call it. As you move around with your dog, let the dog make mistakes. The dog has to get away from you to get a correction. Now, if you have a longer leash, so like when I first teach this, I use like a 12-foot, 15-foot leash. I want the dog to get so distracted that they're so far away from me that when they get hit by the end of that leash, that they're not associating me with the correction. Right? Because right here, if I only have like a 3, 4, 5-foot leash and the dog's right here and I give that correction and they catch me, now the dog could have an aversion to me. But then very quickly after they start learning that and it's not tight, walk, then I end up having a dog that just hangs out by my side and it doesn't matter what I do, he's always trying to find this left side. Right? And if I stop, he should stop. Go climb. No. Down. So let's spread out and work on some attention getters. I'll move these place cots out of the way so that you guys have the whole floor. And remember, don't give any commands. Let your leash do the work for you. And then just mark, positive mark or good, when the dog is in the right place. The more things we add to this equation, the more your dog has to figure out. They can only consciously focus on one thing at a time. So if you're adding in sit, come, heel, place, all these different things, we're just muddying the water. So it's no different than learning a new sport or a new skill. You learn the muscle memory first, and then we incorporate the command. And if you want to add some difficulty to it, there's a bunch of treats right there. Walk your dog past them. There you go. Now, if you have a dog that doesn't give a shit about the correction, which can be a very real thing, that's when we're going to start talking about either incorporating some kind of training equipment that's going to make the negative pressure a little bit stronger so your dog cares about it. Because the reality is, if your dog doesn't care about the negative, they're going to continue doing what they want to do. So a negative that we could incorporate would be a prong collar. It could be an e-collar. It could be a slip lead. It could be a thin slip lead that's going to multiply the pressure. But ultimately, there needs to be a correction at the end of that leash, because if the dog doesn't see that as a negative, they're never going to have a point to stay with you. And then if you want to take it a step further, always reward the dog with the hand of the side of the body you want the dog on. So if you want your dog on the left side of your body, reward from the left hand. If you want the dog on the right side of the body, reward from the right hand. Because dogs are lazy. They are going to do the fastest thing to get to the reward. So if you can make it easier for the dog, they're going to do it easier. We as humans tend to complicate things a lot. So we'll do this for a couple more minutes, try to find a good positive spot to stop. And then we're gonna go back to the place cots, but we're gonna have them spread out a little bit.
Down.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sit.
She's like, this dude just keeps slamming things around me.
I know, she's such a spooky.
You know. All right, go ahead and go out to one of these place cots that's kind of out away from everything. All right, so to me, a very important thing when it comes down to dog training is having duration and a command. So like my dog's over here just laying out. He's not happy because I'm not paying attention to him, so you can hear him whine a little bit. But if I hadn't built duration and impulse control into this command, he wouldn't have been, he held this the whole last class, right? So he was there for an hour. Now he's there for another 15 minutes. He'll be through this class for 45 minutes and then into the next class. So how do we do this? How do we build duration where I can have my dog just hang out and not be jumping off when you guys are walking by and things like that? So we have 3 Ds in dog training: duration, distance, and distractions. And when we work on the 3 Ds, we work on duration first, distance second, distractions last. So if I put my dog on place, climb. That just means to get on top of it. I can add a secondary command, sit. Now he's in a double command, right? We got place and we have sit. You're drooling. I don't even have food on me. So if I'm first starting to teach a sit command or a place command, and I always start teaching my stationary positions on a place cot because then it's very easy for the dog to understand I can't move off this area, and this starts to help build duration and distance a lot easier. But the biggest thing is that the elevation of the place cot buys you time because the dog has to make a conscious decision to step off, which then buys you time to either step back into your dog to make them do the position or hold it, or give a correction or whatever you need to do. When I'm first teaching this, I get the dog up on it, and then I'm gonna hang out like right here. If I have my leash, I can apply leash pressure, whatever, but I want my dog to be able to hold this for a decent amount of time, and decent is up to you. Like, I try to go pretty quick. I want my dog to be able to hold this for like an hour. So I'm gonna be right here at first, because if I can't get my dog to stay here with me right here, there's no way that he's gonna do it when I'm out this far, or I'm talking to somebody else, or I'm with another dog. So I need to build duration first, and duration is close. Now, if I start adding distance, I'm going to lose part of my duration, right? Because I've just changed the picture. And my dog's gonna go, shit, I wanna be next to dad, right? So when I first start building distance, I need to know I'm gonna lose duration, and I need to go back to my dog more and reward him than release him or call him to me. And then I wanna be very random about how I build distance and duration. I might back away the first couple of times and then come in and reward, right? I go, good, and then I come this way. And then maybe I stand this way, and then I come back and I go past. Or maybe I'll run circles around my dog, right? So I need to be able to get my dog to where he doesn't care and he understands that place just means to hang out on top of this thing. Same thing with sit, same thing for down. But you have to start at the base, which is duration, all right? Now, we do a lot of duration because while I'm sitting here running my mouth, you got dogs on place, they're gonna sit, you're putting them down, whatever the case may be. So a lot of times we're gonna start working on distance in class because you guys are already working on duration without even thinking about it as the dog is here, right? So what we're gonna practice for the next few minutes is building a little bit of distance. This is why I really like a long line, because then I can feed that line out. Remember, pressure means to do something. So if my dog feels leash pressure while I'm building distance, they're probably gonna come running towards me, right? Unless you desensitize the dog to leash pressure, which I wouldn't recommend doing yet. So get out to the end of your leash if you can. Try to do some walks around. If your dog is okay with you going all the way around in circles, great. If not, then just go back and forth from side to side until you can go, you know, maybe a 180 versus a 360, but whatever. And always go back to the dog. Always reward at the dog. And then maybe 1 out of 5 times of doing this, you'll release the dog and do a big puppy party, right? Or if you make the furthest distance you've ever made and you walk a whole circle and you get your goal, then release the dog, right? So go ahead and work on some duration and distance. Down. She's like, he's cute. I want to go talk to him.
He looks just like her mom.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, yeah. Which obviously.
Now, as we're building distance, we want to incorporate our markers. So if I'm going to reward my dog, if I get to the distance that I want, what it's 2 steps, 3 steps, 5 steps, 10 feet, 15 feet, whatever, I am going to mark at the distance that I am at. I'm not going to walk out and then walk back and then mark here and reward my dog. I want to mark the distance that I'm working at and then go reward my dog. Otherwise, if I don't say anything when I get to my distance, I come back, I'm just teaching my dog that I'm going to come back and come back and come back. So I create some distance, good. Come back to my dog, reward. Sit, down, whatever, create some more distance, good. Go back to my dog. If the dog breaks, you're gonna mark no. And then give forward pressure, so you're gonna walk towards the dog while giving upward leash pressure to get the dog to stay in the sit or back to wherever they're at. It's more important that the marker comes first and then the negative or the positive so the dog can associate what they are doing, and it encourages the power of that marker. It gives power to the marker. And of course, a mother would say, eh. She's like, but mom's right there.
Well, I called her out to try to lure her off.
So another thing that can help you guys, a little tip and trick. Go climb. I'm seeing a lot of you guys are, no. Good. You're doing the Statue of Liberty. Dog breaks, you have one hand on the leash, and you're doing one of these, right? Statue of Liberty. Do you have any control over your dog? No. So, if I have my dog and my dog is breaking, I have my strong hand holding the handle, I have my support hand. Use your leverage. This is a lot more controlled than this, right? So I'm just using my support hand as leverage to give that tension. And then it also doesn't show the dog that this is a lot bigger movement versus boop, right? Bark. I know. Sit. Down. Front. Fine. No. Lay down. So why do you use the stake command? Why do you use the stay command?
Why do I?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I've always been taught that.
What does stay mean?
Stay.
Don't move. So the reason why I ask is because now we're adding gray area to the dog. Because if you tell your dog to lay down and you tell her to stay, but she also told her to stay in a sit, which stay do you want her to do? So I don't use a stay command. We don't teach a stay command. We teach an implied stay, meaning if I tell my dog to sit or down, he should hold that till I release him, versus recommanding stay, which they can create confusion because potentially there's a sit stay, a down stay, a stand stay, a place stay. So I have potentially 4 commands that I would use a stationary hold with, and my dog has to assume which one do I mean.
Do you use a hand signal?
No. No, walk. Yep, so heel. Sit. It's black and white, right? There's no gray area. You're supposed to sit. And if I tell them down, Raider down, same thing. There's no gray area. The expectation is you are holding a down till I say, free, get belly, walk. You can't have that food. Go climb.
What was the difference when you were saying heel as compared to walk?
So he has 2 heel commands. His heel command is a competition-focused heel. His walk command is like your pet walk command or pet heel command. So the only time that we say heel is when we're actually looking for that focused heel. All right, if you've been working on sit, put your dog into a down and do it all over again. If you've been working on a down, put your dog into a sit. Come here. Come. Raider. No. No. You turd. Place. Climb. Down. No. Down. What are you doing, Sprite? I see you over there.
Nice.
Down. Front. Front. Middle. No, middle. Middle. No. Climb. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll start heeling around the room this direction. If your dog breaks the heel position, just change your direction, give that correction, and jump back into the group where you can. So we're gonna start loose leash walking this way. A big circle around the room. Down. So light on her feet. Climb. She's like, what's he been chewing on over there? Right. All right, we're gonna come to a stop. Give a little bit of leash pressure above your dog's head. Make him do that sit. So the next thing we're gonna practice is some automatic sits. So you're gonna walk 5, 10 steps. As you get ready to stop, a little bit of leash pressure, come into that stop, and your dog should sit. All right? I don't care if you guys keep walking in the circle or if you just do it on your own in random spots, but what I wanted to see is walk. So I have my dog in heel. We're walking. As I stop, a little bit of leash pressure up, my dog should sit. Heel. As I stop, a little bit of leash pressure, my dog should stop and sit. Good. Walk. Kennel. Right here. Go climb. Lay down. Why are you triggering people, Fizz? So remember, loose leashes, if we don't have a loose leash, the dog can't make a choice, can't get themselves in trouble. We need to allow the dog to make their own choice. And based on that choice, the consequence is either positive or negative. Does she know what sit means?
Not really. This is her first lesson.
So I wouldn't use the command. I wouldn't use the sit command.
What do you do?
Just leash pressure or lure her with your treat. Because if you're saying sit and she has negative association because she doesn't understand it, you're muddying the water, and then you can also create sit as a bad thing. So if I take your dog, so if I'm healing, right, and I want her to sit, good. Heel. Good. 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 Right? So I'm not, if I'm talking and giving a bunch of words that she doesn't understand, it's just causing more problems, right? Versus if I can get the muscle memory of, hey, my hand goes here, your butt goes to the ground. We do it again. We start walking, get past the food. I stop. Good. A lot more clear, huh?
I guess. She's doing it, isn't she?
Right. So I back away. Same thing. Right. And I'm letting her teach herself. Right? If you're forced to do something, do you learn better if you're forced or if you make your own choices? Good. Right? Good. Free. Yeah. Lay down.
She's starting to like, if I do like super loose
I see it. Where's your reward?
I didn't give any her any reward.
Right, but where is it?
That's up high, so she's looking at it.
No. What hand is it in?
My right. So keep it in my left and just side.
Because she's forging ahead of you because you come around to reward her. Dogs aren't dumb.
So if it's in my left hand and she still does that, would you just keep going and not reward that? Only reward it for the right place.
So for her, like, if you want her to stay to the left, so I'm going to make it super easy the first couple times, right?
Yeah.
Good. 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 Yes.
Okay.
And you can still use your leash, right? But you have to be proactive and not let her get ahead of you. Raider, climb. Oh, shit.
He's pissed at you.
He's bored.
Yep. Come on. Ellie.
There you go. Perfect. Good. But yeah, if you have the treats in your right hand, more often than not, the dog is going to forge ahead of you and wrap to get to that treat. Lay down. Why the left hand versus the right?
I thought you said if you have it in the right hand, they're more likely to go in front of you.
It's going to be whatever side the body's on. So if you walk with your dog on the left and the treats are on the right, the dog's going to go across you. If the dog's on your right side and you have treats in your left hand, they're going to walk across in front of you.
Okay. I thought it had to do with like just using the right.
Nope, they're just going to go because watch. So if I have my dog on my left side, right, here's my dog, and I have my treat in my right hand, if I come across, my dog sees me coming across, and they're going to go, oh, well, if I go this way, I'm going to meet the treat and I'm going to get it faster. Right? Versus if I'm walking like this, I have it in my left hand, boop, boop, there's no reason for my dog to get in front of me.
Right. Okay. So it's more of it doesn't really matter which hand, it's the crossing that's
Right.
that you're talking
Now, once you get to a certain point with your dog, none of that matters. Right? So like with my dog,
And then from there, we have like
walk. But you'll still see it, right? Heel. Walk. He's going to be much more apt to want to look at this hand that has the food, especially if I reward him from there once or twice. Good. See? Climb. I want to play. Lay down. All right, let's go ahead and head back to the place cots. Nine years old and you still can't catch anything.
Place. No. Place.
All right, so today we covered some duration, some impulse, 3Ds, loose leash walking, attention getters. So in the 3Ds, duration, distance, and distractions, we work on duration first. I want to be able to have my dog hold a position with me right next to them. Once I get some good duration, whether it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever your preference is, then I'm going to start incorporating some distance. Remember, as I add distance, I'm going to lose duration. So as I add distance, I need to go back to my dog faster than if I was standing right here. And I want to go back to my dog more often than I release my dog. On your loose leash walk, start walking with your dog. Don't say anything. Let the dog make mistakes, get away from you. You do the opposite of whatever your dog is doing. If your dog walks too fast, you slow down. Your dog slows down, you speed up. Your dog goes left, you go right. Dog goes right, you go through your dog. Right? Markers. Make sure you're marking the behaviors you like. Make sure you're marking and giving corrections for the behaviors you don't like. If your dog truly doesn't understand what the command is, you just repeating it over and over and over again is not going to teach the dog the command. There's a system, there's a routine that you have to create. So for us here, the way that we teach commands is by using classical conditioning. So I want my dog to learn how to sit. So first, I need to get my dog to teach him the motion. So if I put a treat above my dog's head, his butt's gonna drop. I say good, I reward. Ow. Stand. So same thing. If I want my dog to sit, treat above the head, butt drops, good, and then I reward. Once the dog knows that motion where the treat goes above their head, then I can incorporate a verbal command. Because the dog already knows the motion. He already knows the muscle memory of what he's supposed to do. So using classical conditioning, Stan, I'm going to go sit. Good. Right? Stand. Good. So again, I'm going to give the command, I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to move for the lure. So it'll be sit. Good. If you go sit, or sit down, whatever, and you're doing the action at the same time as the command, they become one thing. And you'll never get away from having to give hand signals or giving leash pressure. There needs to be a gap in between every step of the command cycle. There needs to be the command, a gap, marker, a gap, repercussion, gap, recommand, whatever, right? You need to break it up. And it needs to be at least a half a second to a second between. Otherwise, it all becomes one thing. And it sucks for humans because we do everything together. Everything flows as one for us. When we talk with our hands, so hand signals are super easy. So, all right, that's all I got for you guys today. Have a good weekend. Free. Go climb.
Thank you.
No problem. Down. Oh man, it is pouring out there.